Hey everyone, what's up? Matt here. You're watching Fish On, the show where we talk everything fishing. But we're not going to talk fishing too much today because I'm going to be cooking up public enemy number one here, this chain pickerel. Going to be doing my famous fish tacos. So I thought I would give you guys a run through of how to fillet, debone them, and then I'll show you how I cook up my fish tacos. A lot of people are nervous or they don't want to mess with the bones and go through all the trouble, but it's really not that hard. And I'm going to show you how it's done. So let's get started. First, you're going to notice I have cardboard that I've laid down. And the reason for that is that chain pickerel are really slimy. The cardboard helps soak up the slime. That's important because the slime on a chain pickerel will give the fish an off taste, kind of people describe it as like muddy or grassy, but it will give it a strong taste. So you want to keep any of the meat with the chain pickerel away from the slime. That's the number one tip when you're doing this. So that's why I use the cardboard. And I'm always going to be, you'll watch me, I'll always be putting pieces of the fish on a clean piece of cardboard. So first thing you want to do is, first of all, you should have really good knives, sharp knives. So I use my larger blade here to take the fillet off the fish. And then I've got my smaller blade here to debone later. And here we go. I'm just going to adjust my camera a bit. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is just take the side of the fish off like you would any other fish. So what we do is just kind of cut in behind the head. Oh, I'm going to try to fix my video here. It's a little frozen. Sorry, everyone, just bear with me for a minute. I'm just going to try that. All right, this is new for me, trying to run two cameras at the same time. I'd use my phone. It's not doing the greatest, but we'll see. We'll make it work. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so like I was saying, first cut behind the head. And then right down the spine, just like you would any other fish, if you're familiar with filleting fish. Okay, so we got one side of the fish off, and I'm going to lay it on a piece of cardboard that's clean, away from the rest of the fish. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. Okay. All right. So I've taken one side of the fish off. Flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. Okay. Now, we're basically done with that fish. I've got my 2 fillets off. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Now, take the skin off. Now, I know I said keep away from the slime, but I meant the flesh side, not to touch the slime. So I'm just putting the skin side back on the slime. It's okay. Now, take the skin off like you would for other fish as well. Now, this is the important part. Keep it on a clean piece of cardboard after you take the skin off. And same thing to the other one. Okay, now I've got my fish de-skinned and ready to go, so I'm going to move this piece of cardboard because it's full of the pickle slime. Now I've got my fillets now on a nice clean piece. And now comes the fun part, taking out the Y bones. All right, I want to make sure my video is not lagging here because this is the other part's pretty straightforward. Taking out the Y bones is a little tricky to learn, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. Favorite brand of knife? Sorry, I just had a question coming in there. I've got a Bubba blade here. Really good knife. I like this bigger one for kind of taking the fillet right off the side of the fish. And then this little Rapala one here. It's about a 4-inch blade. I like that one for like smaller fish like trout, perch, and for like deboning. That's a good knife. So I usually run 2 knives when I do this. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is take your fillet and cut it in half. It's just easier to work with. When you're cutting all the bones out, you're not going to get a full piece anyway. So it makes things a lot easier. So I've cut my fillet in half. Now, when you're looking for the Y bones, if you run your finger over the flesh, you'll feel them sticking up. I can actually run my knife. I don't know if you guys will hear it or not. But they're right there. You'll feel them with the knife. You'll feel them with your finger. So what you're going to do is basically run your knife in front of them. And when I say in front, I mean like towards the back, the top of the fish. Until you hit the bone. You don't want to cut through the bone. You just want to run your knife down until you hit the bone, and then what you're going to do is you're going to curve your knife and follow the top edge of the bone. You slowly run your knife on top of the bone, and that piece will peel back, and you'll see the Y bone. If I run my knife there, you'll feel all the bone right there. Might try something a little different here. Okay, so I'm just going to switch cameras. Perfect. Trying to get my other camera here. I don't want it to lag. This is the important part. I want everyone to see it. There we go. We can use my other one. There we go. Okay, so you can see right here, I've peeled the meat back, and right here is where the Y bones are. So I've cut on top. Now what I need to do is get behind it. So if you follow like the lateral line of the fish, the middle part of the fish, you'll feel the bottom end of those bones. So what you're gonna do is cut behind it and kind of scoop under that Y bone. So you can actually see the blade of my knife is just under those bones. And then that whole strip will come out. And that is all the Y bones. That's the reason right there people don't like to cook pickerel, and it's that easy to take out. So we can throw that to the side. Now that piece there is completely boneless. There's no bone in that piece right now. So again, clean piece of the cardboard. Now we're going to do the tail section. And it's the same thing. There's a little row of bones at the back. I'll show you how to cut out in a minute. But it's the same move for the top. So find that bone, cut in front of it. Okay, and then run your knife on top of that Y bone there. And then again, in behind it. And underneath it. And scoop it right out. And that's the rest of the Y bones. Now on the tail section, there's another row that's kind of closer to the back. And they don't really curve out as much. So what I do is just kind of run my knife in front of it, and you can feel it with your finger. A little cut in front, a little cut behind. And that little piece is all bone as well. But that fillet is now completely boneless. So I'm going to show it one more time with this angle. Okay. Oh, and I missed a little of the rib cage there, so I'm just going to trim that off quickly. Okay. So again, cut the fillet in half. Makes it easy to work with. Find that row of bones with your finger. Okay. Run your knife in front of it, up towards the shoulder. Okay. Now turn your knife so that you're running just on top of those bones. A sharp knife helps. Okay. Now all I do is peel that back. See what I've done there? I've peeled it back, and right there, that's all the Y bone. I'm going to cut in behind it. And if you hit a bone, stop. Don't cut through it. Just go back a little bit. You just probably cut a little too close. So I'm just going to cut down slightly. And then I'm basically running my knife back up underneath the Y bone. And you should be able to see the blade of your knife. You can see the blade of my knife right there, just underneath the Y bone. Get it as close as you can. That way you'll lose less meat of the fish. And then once you cut on top and below, they come right out. So again, another piece completely boneless. Okay, now the last piece. So again, one more time, find the bone, run your knife in front of it. Oop, kind of hit the bone a little bit there. I'm gonna go a little bit more in front. Curve your knife. So when I say curve your knife, I really mean like kind of lay it flat so it's on top of the bones. And then that little row of bone that's by the tail, just cut in front of it, behind it. And take that strip right out. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So now I've got all boneless fish there. You can run your finger through it just to make sure you didn't miss any. I didn't miss any there, so that's good. I didn't miss any bone in that one, so that's good. Nope, didn't miss any there. And on there. So good, so now I'm gonna put this to the side. All right, so I'm just going to give this a quick rinse, and then I'm going to show you what I do with it next. So the next step is I put it in, let it soak in some milk. Two reasons. One, they say it helps with that strong flavor that you can get. They say the milk neutralizes that. But also, if you let it soak in the milk, it'll help your coating stick later. So I'm just going to put that to the side. Okay. Now, we're done with that cardboard, so we can clean that up. Now what I'm going to do is get my oil ready. So I use a wok. You can use like a deep frying pan if you want, or a deep fryer, even better. But woks are pretty versatile, so I'm going to use that. Nate asked a question. He says, do you bleed the fish beforehand? Meat has almost no blood in it. I do. I bleed all my fish. They don't have a lot of blood, so it's not really necessary, but I do it anyway. All right, so oil. I like to use sunflower oil. That's my oil of choice. So you want to get about maybe 2 inches of oil in there, a good amount. Let me get that turned up. Now, while the oil is heating up, I'm going to make my pico de gallo and also a chipotle mayo that I use on mine. So let's start with the mayo first. So what I have here is some green onion. There's a clove of garlic in there, some fresh cilantro from the garden, and this is a canned chipotle pepper in, I don't know how they pronounce it, adobe sauce maybe it's pronounced. I can actually show you the can. I have it here somewhere. These guys right here. So that's all going to go into a food processor. And in with that, I have some cider vinegar, and I mix some sugar into it just to sweeten it up a bit. And the last ingredient is mayonnaise. Scoop that in as well. Great. And give that a little zap with the food processor. That's all there is to it. Scoop that out. And there it is. Chipotle mayo. That's really the only topping I use. I might throw some hot sauce on there if I want an extra kick, but that's the only sauce I use. And the other thing is my pico de gallo that I'm about to make. My oil's not quite there yet. Oh, actually, I lied. It wasn't the only ingredient. I totally forgot. Lime. Lime goes in the mayo. So I'll just squeeze them in right now. Okay. And maybe some salt. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. Pico de gallo. Tomatoes. So you're just going to dice up the tomatoes. I use about 2 to 3 tomatoes. Depends on how much pico you want. I'm just going to use 2 tomatoes. Usually use 3, and we eat the rest, with just some tortilla chips or something. I usually serve guac with my fish tacos as well, but I forgot to get avocado. So if you want to put guac in your own, I recommend it. My oil's almost getting there. I usually heat the oil until it's almost about smoking. And the thing about the chain pickerel too, they don't take very long to cook. 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so that's my tomatoes. They're going to go in this bowl here. Okay, tomatoes, red onion. And my cilantro. Just a rough chop of the cilantro. You don't need to get it too fine or anything. And then some of the green onions. Sometimes I like to add a little mango in there too. Really good kick to it, but I didn't have any on me today. So we have all our veggies in there. Now I take about half a lime. If you like more lime, use more lime. If you like less lime, use less lime. If you like heat, you can put some jalapeno peppers in there too, but I kind of like to just keep it like this. They usually get enough heat through the chipotle mayo and any hot sauce I put on it. Okay. Some salt. And a drizzle of olive oil. Give it a good mix. Probably could use a bigger bowl. Oh well. There it is, pico. Oh, I thank you. Okay, great. Now, my oil is just about ready. Actually, it's getting a little too hot, so I'm just going to take it out the heat for a minute, let it cool back down. And I've got my coating already ready. Put it in a Ziploc bag, so that way you can put the fillets in and shake them around. You can use whatever coating you want. I just got the stuff. It's from Bass Pro. I think it's called Uncle Buck's Fish Fry. That's the one I like. You can use like the Fish Crisp stuff or make your own. It doesn't really matter. If you want to use beer batter, a lot of places use beer batter. Use beer batter, but I prefer this stuff. So now I've had my fish soaking in the milk. So what I'm going to do now is take them out and cut them just into smaller pieces. Right. Nice strip that would fit perfectly in a fish taco. Okay. Ooh, I actually feel a bone in there. I missed it somewhere. Cut it out. Get rid of it. Last piece. Perfect. All right. Back into the milk. Yes, my fridge is like an art gallery. You can see in the back. All right, oil looks good now. I'm just going to take. So now I'm going to take my fish, okay, and into the bag of mix. You don't want to put them all in there. Maybe half or handful. Couple pieces. I'm actually going to move this board out of the way. I'm done with it now. Grab a plate. Okay, so now you just zip that back up, or if you're lazy like me, you just fold it over, give it a shake. And you got perfectly coated shrimp pickle. That one didn't get coated very well, so put that back in. All right. I'm going to put the last few pieces in. See, my fish is all coated there. Then give it a little shake. They're all nice and coated. And I like to just sprinkle some on afterwards just to get any pieces I may have missed or anything. And I kind of like to press some of the coating down onto it, make sure it really sticks on there. Cool. Yeah, they look good. They're ready for the fryer. And the best part about this, no mess. Fold up the bag, throw it in the garbage. All right. Now, oil's nice and hot. Time to put them in the deep fry. Not the deep fryer, the wok. I call it the deep fryer because this is what I used to deep fry mostly. Let's see if I can set this up here. See if I don't go splashing oil all over my MacBook. Okay. Yes, plenty hot, perfect. Turn the heat down a little bit. Like I said, they don't take long. 3 minutes. Another trick too, or tip I should say, find all the thicker pieces, the shoulder pieces, and put them all in at the same time because they'll cook a little bit, they'll take a little longer. You put like the thinner tail sections in, it might overcook. Now I usually have a plate with some paper towel on it ready, so when I scoop the fish out, right on the plate. What kind of oil? Sunflower oil. That's what I prefer. Just kind of flip them over if you can manage. Get yourself one of these handy little, I don't know what you would call them, scoops, I guess. They make life really easy. You really don't want to overcook them because they will dry out. They don't take long. They're almost ready right now. Tortillas in the oven, wrapped in tin foil, 325 degrees. Get them nice and warmed up. They're almost ready. You can actually do a touch test. If you want, you can kind of push on it. If it feels soft, not quite there yet. It shouldn't feel too hard though. There should be a little bit of give to it. They're about 30 seconds away. All right, let's take one out and we're pretty much done. That first batch, still got a few on the plate over there. And they are perfectly done. It's kind of hot to hold on to, but if you look, just perfect. You just start to break away. Still juicy inside, still moist, I should say. Now, I saved the thinner pieces for the end because they cook a lot faster. Let me show you the first batch here. My bird's eye view camera is not working really well. These ones are a little thinner, so they're going to take less time. We're almost there, about 45 seconds. Thank you, Elena. All right, we are just about done. All right. Okay. Let them strain off a bit. Don't go dumping them on the paper just right away. And a little tip for you with the oil, if it's not too dirty, this oil doesn't look, well, this oil is pretty dirty, but if it's not too dark, you can actually put it in a mason jar and you can probably get away with frying one more time with it. And there we go. Now all we got to do is build our fish tacos. Okay. So we have our fish. We have all of our toppings. We'll have my chipotle mayo, my pico. I'm going to cut a little bit of lime because I like lime wedges with it. Okay, got my limes ready. Now, time to build these fish tacos. Gonna grab our tortillas out of the oven. Grab a tortilla. Okay, and we'll start with some of our chipotle mayo. Okay, and got some nice oak leaf lettuce that I got out of the garden. And 2 pieces of fish. Okay. And then a little bit of our pico. And one of my little squeeze of lime. And there you have it. Chain pickerel fish taco. I really like this chipotle, so I'm going to drizzle a little bit more on top. Sometimes I'll get some hot sauce, but oh, actually, I know what'll step it up a notch. A couple of jalapeno peppers. And there you go. Chain pickerel, fish tacos, all kinds of chain pickerel around in HRM. Don't be scared to try them. It's really not that hard to take the bones out. You know, a little bit of practice. You know, this broadcast you'll be able to watch this right after the live broadcast ends. So if you need to go back and watch it and see how I did it, try it. They're great fish. There's lots of them. They're easy to catch. You know, we have to try to control the population because they are invasive as well. So go out there and get a few. Try them. They're great fish. They're one of my favorite fish to eat. And this is probably my favorite chain pickerel recipe. I do have a couple others. Maybe in a future show, I'll show you a different way to do it. But you know what? That's it. We're all wrapped up. So I'm going to go now, and I'm going to enjoy this. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, tight lines. I got to try a bite, though, before I go. Oh, yeah. Tight lines, everyone. Thanks for watching.